Welcome. We are continuing initiation to visit features of mathematical domain of the text of Gita. In the previous lesson, we have exposed ourselves to the distinguishing features of creator's space. Creator's space is a spatial order space. It is the spatial order which brings in distinguishing features for the mathematical domain of creator's space. Three space is a linear order space. Four space, the creator's space, is a spatial order space. The focus here in four space is upon plane as a dimension. In three space, we are having linear axis, line as axis. Three linear axes constitute a dimensional frame of a three space. Here in four space, there are quadruple dimensions. Each dimension is a plane, is a surface, is a two space, is spatial. It is this spatial nature of the axis of creator's space which makes all the difference for its mathematical features, mathematical values, mathematical processing steps, and mathematical attainment. It is like viewing the world with a single eye or viewing the same with a pair of eyes. Lord Brahma, creator the supreme, is a four-headed Lord. Each head of Lord Brahma is equipped with a pair of eyes. Parallel to it is the spatial axis of four space. Therefore, sadhakas fulfilled with intensity efforts to be parallel with the mathematical features of creator's space shall first of all focus upon the spatial nature of dimension of the creator's space. Here plane is axis. Spatial axis would mean plane in the role of axis. Plane in the role of axis means two space as dimension, and this is parallel with pair of eyes in each head of the creator's space. The first step for initiation of transition from three space to four space is the transition from linear axis to a spatial axis. In three space, one space plays the role of a dimension. In four space, two space plays the role of a dimension. Here in three space, there are three linear axes. In four space, there are four spatial axes. One way to connect any 2 points on axis is the feature of a linear axis. Infinite ways to connect any 2 points on axis is the feature of the spatial axis. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well. On the computer screen is a pictorial representation of this aspect. On the left side is a three space. It is of a linear dimensional order. Its axes are linear, and along the line, any pair of points have only one way to connect them, to coordinate them, and it is the line segment between A and B. However, in case of a four space, its spatial axis, the plane, the surface, permits as many as infinite ways to connect the pair of points in the surface, as there will be infinite number of curves which are which would be available to connect any pair of points, and as such, the spatial axis has infinite ways to connect, while the linear axis has only one way to connect. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well, and from here it will be glaringly ambrosious, blissful to note that the spatial axis is infinitely spread sheet. It is this feature of the spatial axis as infinitely spread sheet which makes all the difference. It is this feature which enriches the mathematical domain of the creators of space. With this in mind, one shall have a revisit to a square. Square is a synthetic setup of quadruple quarter squares. Further, square as a surface has a pair of faces. The surface is of pair of faces. Therefore, the sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity effort to be parallel with the mathematics of creator space have to visit its spatial axis as a setup of a pair of faces. Now, quad, quadruple quarter squares of square get organized as 8 triangles, half squares. This split of the surface into 8 parts is a feature which, in the context of pair of faces, will bring in as many as 16 structural components. One may have a pause here and take note that the quadruple spatial axis of creator's space make a dimensional frame of value 2 raised to the power 4 is equal to 16. The dimensional frame of creator's space of value 16 and split of a surface of pair of faces as 18, 8 plus 8, 16 structural components deserve to be imbibed, deserve to be comprehended well. Further, the pulp between the pair of faces of the surface, the two space content sandwiched between pair of faces on split of the pair of faces as is depicted will bring to focus the space, 3 space, a solid domain format for the content coming into existence, coming into a state for its role to be played. And once this happens, then on both sides of the in-between space will bring in pair of surfaces of pair of faces each. This will bring in 16 plus 16 is equal to 32 structural components. Value 32 is equal to 2 raised to the power 5. It would mean that this setup will be a setup of as many as 5 spatial dimensions. One may have a pause here and take note that 4 space is a setup of quadruple spatial dimensions. However, here In this split up, the reach is as of dimensional order of 5 spatial dimensions. One may further have a pause here and take note that the first Ganita Sutra is a text of 16 letters. The last Ganita Sutra is a setup of 32 letters. Therefore, this organization is emerging as a geometric format for the text of Ganita Sutras and Sutras together. We shall be coming to these aspects while we will be taking up the mathematical domain of creator space for its details, for its detailed processing steps, and for its illustrative applications. The 16th component of the surface of pair of faces is a triangle, a right angle triangle of sides 3, 4, 5 is enveloping, bringing in, sandwiching surface area of 6 units. Therefore, the Vedic mathematics approaches a right angle triangle 3, 4, 5 as having its fourth component, fourth value as well, and it is of 6 units of a spatial order. Therefore, the quadruple values 3, 4, 5 deserve to be approached as setup of quadruple values 3, 4, 5, 6. This set of quadruple values 3, 4, 5, 6 permits split into a pair of parts of first 3 values 3, 4, 5 as of linear units and the fourth as a second part as a spatial unit, 6 spatial units, 6 area units. Now 3, 4, 5, 6 is a setup of quadruple values which is parallel with the four-fold manifestation layer 3, 4, 5, 6 of hypercube 5, the representative regular body of 5 space. One may have a pause here. One shall revisit this feature. The right angle triangle 3, 4, 5 and the fourth surface value 6 area units as quadruple 3, 4, 5, 6 as such is a printout of solid order 5 space body hypercube 5 within a surface. Surface, plane, 2 space, spatial axis sequentially brings us face to face with as that hypercube 5, the representative regular body of a 5 space, has its printout in the 16th component of a surface of a pair of faces. Now, surface itself is of the features of 2 space. 2 space plays the role of dimension of a 4 space. However, 2 space itself is having 3 space in the role of a dimension. 3 space plays the role of solid dimensional order of a 5 space. As such, this printout of solid order hypercube 5 within spatial axis is a glaring characteristic foundational structural feature which deserves to be comprehended well to be parallel with the distinguishing features of the mathematical domain of the creators of space. One may have a pause here and take note that domain 6 surface area 6 as 6 units, as space content of 6 units, as domain 6 leads to domain split spectrum of value 16 as 6 space domain splits into a pair of creative dimensions and a spatial dimension of dimension. It is this feature which further brings us face to face with the glaring distinguishing approach as well as attainment of the creative dimensional order as well as of the mathematical domain of creators of space. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to be face to face with the printout of solid order 3 space within spatial dimension and resultant printout of hypercube 5 within spatial axis of the creators of space and the domain leading to a split spectrum of value 16 parallel with the total 16 structural components of a surface of pair of faces in the role of spatial dimension of the creators of space. With this, one will be in a position to revisit the dimensional synthesis happening within the spatial axis itself. The spatial axis is of features which result into dimensional synthesis of any number of dimensions of any dimensional order, may it be positive, negative, or of a zero order. The table on the computer screen is complete tabulation of the dimensional synthesis values of dimensions of any number of dimensions of any dimensional order. This is the ultimate spreadsheet of the attainment potentialities of the spatial axis. It is a very wide spreadsheet. It is structurally very rich. It deserves to be approached, visited, and to be imbibed. It will require a one complete session to be in a position to be parallel with the values which stand tabulated as the dimensional synthesis table within the spatial axis of the creators of space. For the present, it be taken as that within the spatial axis there happens dimensional synthesis for any number of dimensions of the same order for every order, may it be positive, negative, or zero. This statement in itself is a very big mathematical statement. It is a depiction of a very big projection of the potentialities of the creators of space because of its spatial dimensional order. We shall be coming to it. In fact, we shall be devoting a full session for comprehension and imbibing of this table only. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with The mathematical domain of creator space shall comprehend and imbibe these table values. Now a step ahead, let us visit the formulation Ved. The formulation Ved, as is tabulated, as is depicted on the computer screen, is of TC value 20, and the 10 folds of TC value of this formulation are of summation value 1035. The value 1035 is equal to 1000 plus 35. Value 35 is equal to the TC value of formulation Samved. There are 1000 branches of Samved. The value 1035 as the summation value of all 10 folds of TC value of formulation Ved is very, very blissful preservation. Srimad Bhagavad Gita preserves the enlightenment in the sermons of Lord Krishna as that amongst Vedas, Lord is Samveda. How Veda is Samveda is a feature, is a value which deserves to be visited, deserves to be imbibed. And for it, if we are through all the 10 folds of TC value of formulation Ved, we will be having a reach at complete summation value 1035, and value 35 will take us to TC value of Samved, and value 1000 will take us to 1000 branches of Samved. Lord Krishna enlightens, Srimad Bhagavad Gita preserves that Lord Krishna amongst Vedas is Samved. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity efforts to be parallel with Vedic systems shall approach each word formulation for its all 10 folds of the TC value of the formulation. Value 1000, Shahastra, is a formulation which, when is approached for its 10 folds, it will take us to value 1031. And the value 31 is the value of the synthesis of a pair of linear transcendence ranges. Further, the value 31 is the value of 31 structural components of cube, the setup of a linear order body, hypercube 3 within creators of space. As such, sadhakas fulfilled with intensity efforts to be parallel with Vedic systems shall permit the transcending mind to glimpse and imbibe the features of the spatial order. It is the spatial order of the creators of space which brings us face to face with the mathematical potentialities and domain of Vedic systems. The numbers values range 1 to 1000. The number value 1000, value 1000 as Shahastra is of TC value 23, and parallel to it is the formulation Anant, which means infinitely infinite. Therefore, Vedic systems are fully exploiting the numbers values range 1 to 1000. Let us visit numbers values 1 to 1000. Let us tabulate the frequency of occurrence of digits 0 to 9 in composition of the numbers 1 to 1000. As is the tabulation, it will bring us face to face with that the total number of digits or total frequency of occurrence of all the digits 0 to 9 in the formation of numbers range 1 to 1000 comes to be 2893, and its split up is that for digits 2 to 9 the frequency of occurrence is 300. It would be blissful to take note that the formulation Ved in its 10th fold as synthesis of the pair of transcendence ranges is precisely 300. This way we can have a blissful visit to interlocking of the artifices of numbers and dimensional frames. Once we will be comprehending this interlocking of artifices of numbers and dimensional frames, we shall be blissfully parallel with the Vedic systems. Thank you very much.